When I first came here, I had no job, no nothing, so not knowing anything about the mountains, I went up into a canyon and put up a big tent and had everything set up. And I told my buddy, if you get me a job, just blow the horn on the bridge, because the canyon went out across number 23 highway. So he comes up, 8 o'clock at night, the horn blows, so I leave. Well, I come back the next day, 30 feet of snow and ice, wiped out my whole camp. I never did find anything. Now, you can call that, do you think that's a coincidence? That when it happens all the time, you just wonder. I'm walking up this hill, and it's got moss on it. I fall on a machete. I got a 6-inch cut, vertical, right up through my veins. And I'm thinking, I just done myself. Well, the guy, I hear this crunch, crunch, crunch. A monster truck comes around the corner on a Sunday with his family. First aid, industrial first aid man for DNA logging. So, there's just two. And hypothermia is one thing in the mountains. You're going to get a hypothermia very easily. You got to watch what you're doing. And I had to learn all these lessons. But he was very patient with me, the Lord, because I'll tell you, I ended up getting hypothermia. I was walking up and down the mountain. I didn't know what I was doing. It was snowing, it would rain, snow. And I got down to where there was this old road that went by the Gold Stream. And there's this big black holes in it. Well, indeed, I stepped in one right up to my neck in water. Now I'm thinking, I just killed myself. So I get out and I look up in there and I said, help me, Lord. I said, I can't do this. And I turned around and I run face first into a cedar tree with the whole side ripped out of it that a bear had done. And I lit that tree on fire and I made it out. But every time you learn a lesson. So that's, another time I went, it'd be 8 miles. I had 2 more miles to go. And I'm on my knees, and I got to go uphill, which is even worse, with a pack. And I wouldn't let that thing go, which was a dumb thing, but. So here I am on my knees, and I just wanted to sleep. Just wanted to lay down and crawl in and sleep. Well, something grabbed me, and I stood up, and I felt like I was $1 million. I never felt that well in my life. And I jogged all the way those 2 miles up into my cabin. So, it just shows you that when you're right on your end and you call out for him, he's going to be there for you. So all it takes is a little bit of faith. When I was dying, they said I had 6 months to live. And that's the trouble. When a doctor says that, you believe him. And I didn't know what to do. And I crawled up, I wrote a letter to my stepma, and I said, don't come looking for me. I arranged my kids to have a place to go, and I walked up into the alpine, and I was crawling. And I was bleeding so bad internally, it would spray the blood around, and the bears would come in at night and just ripped everything apart. And I didn't have no fear or nothing. I thought, I'm already dying. What are they going to do to me? Kill me? So I go up into the alpine, and it was late in the afternoon, and it would be cloudy. Like I said, always up in there, it'll snow, it'll rain, go back and forth, Well, I'm crawling on my hands and knees, and I'm saying, you know what, I don't care right now. I said, I feel good about this. So I crawled up to the top of the alpine, and I'm laying there with my hands stretched out on both sides of me. And the sun comes out and hits me. Just that one little hole in the cloud. And then I look up and there's a shadow coming over me, and it was a 10-foot winged golden eagle. And afterwards, because I am Mohawk, I asked my elders, and they said, that's when your life changed. God gave you a sign that things were going to be all right, because you don't find those. In fact, that's the only one I've ever seen up there. But it was magnificent. He gave me something that I hadn't seen. You say, oh, well, I've been here and there. But that gave me that much more. I needed that fire. to be able to survive. You know, like I was such an unbeliever and such a sinner that, you know, it doesn't matter how hard you try to not believe it. You can call it whatever you want, but it keeps knocking on your door. It's real. See, when I was younger, I really believed in, because I was from a violent family. I was adopted, and so I found that in the, I'd be sitting there in church and all by myself, and the sun would come through those colored windows, and I felt peace, because there was no peace at home. I don't call it home. But yeah, and just like with Jesus, like I don't have much of a heart. I never did. Like when I was younger, I had no affection. Like my children told me that, and I didn't know. I never knew what love was, because I never had it. And you learn these things. And I actually come to the point where it bothered me. See, I was watching this thing with him on the cross, and it actually touched me, which is very rare. It actually brought tears in my eyes, which is, tell you, it was a rare thing that I never cried even when I was a child, never. And that was the whole thing. It actually had opened up something. So, and these things kept happening to me. And I thought, there's got to be something to this. This isn't just, a magic wand there going click. Yeah. So, and then when I was panhandling, I started panhandling because I lost everything. And I would have people come up and say, God told me to come here and talk to you. And I look at these people, they'd always say, he did. And I go, what do you mean, he? He says, yeah, you're going to save hundreds of people, he said, and just hang in there. And these people aren't all crazy. There's lots of panhandlers in the world, but why pick me, I don't trust anybody's word. So I set myself out on a goal that I'm going to prove him either he's real or he's not. Well, I'll tell you right now, there's more evidence that says he's here than not. Christianity was not a religion. It was a way of life. It was the way, and that was the whole thing. Is everybody else was, you had to do good stuff to get to God, their God, so that you would get to go to Nirvana or whatever. But with him, no, it wasn't that way. You didn't have to do that. He changed things. No eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. You know what it is too, is the meaning of life. People have missed it. They didn't, they say it was information that was held back, but people don't understand that. They figure it's just make money and steal from your neighbor. And this is the most wicked world there ever was, except maybe before Noah. But, like even myself, like with Christ, he was way too good of a man to die for the likes of me and all these people I know. And I can admit that, But he, I will not cast you out. If you come to me, I won't outcast you out, and I won't make you ashamed. He tests you, even now with my diseases. He's testing me, and I know that. And I can pray and pray, and then I start getting, so the pain goes away, just disappears. And I couldn't even talk because of the pain. But then I thought, you know what? And I started going through all those scriptures and that. And next thing you know, it's the only night I ever slept. Yeah, but you know what? People have gone through a lot of this stuff, and they're not. Look at how many of his followers. 11 out of the 12. John was the only one that didn't die that way. The rest of them were either crucified, and there's a couple of them that weren't crucified, and the rest of them were all crucified. And that's another thing why I believe in it. If you can get 12 people to die for a lie, You know, and at any time they could have said, yeah, it was all a lie, we made it up. Even if they'd have killed him, they wouldn't have done it the same way. So, I mean, you know, for somebody that's being tortured, and you turn around and go, yeah, no, I'm not giving up my faith because I know it's true. I mean, that takes a lot. Out of 12 people, out of 2 people, you know, but you're talking 12 people that before the resurrection were ready to give up and go home. You know, and then he says, nah, we're not done with you yet. And that's just like with me. He says, I'm not done with you yet. And that's how I feel about it. And that's why I'm making this testimony, because you got to look around you. You know, and you can try to hide it, but you know what? There's a right and a wrong and evil. And the evil you can see. Just open your eyes. And I tell you, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks it will be open. And what father among you, if his sons ask for a fish, will instead of a fish give him a serpent? Or if he asks for an egg, will he give him a scorpion? If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will the Heavenly Father give the Holy Spirit to those who ask him?